What's good, boxing fans? Welcome back. This is not an edition of the Studio Session Predictions, but this is a preview video for the upcoming June 7th mega matchup between Miguel Cotto and Sergio Martinez that will be taking place at Madison Square Garden, the mecca of boxing, for the lineal middleweight championship of the world. Out of all the fights that had been coming up for the first half of 2014, this is the one I'm looking forward to the most. This is obviously a historic fight for Miguel Cotto, as if he is able to go up yet another weight class and beat Sergio Martinez, he'll be the first Puerto Rican in boxing history to capture 4 division titles. And no Puerto Rican fighter before him, from Tito to Wilfred Benitez, Wilfredo Gomez, I mean the list goes on. Nobody's been able to capture more than 3 world titles in Puerto Rico. So Miguel Cotto is lining himself up to try to go for his 4th. And with Sergio Martinez, this is a big opportunity for him. I mean, this is going to be his biggest payday of his career, and I think this is a fight lucratively that he's been looking for, because he's wanted fights with Floyd Mayweather, he's wanted fights with Manny Pacquiao, but the reality is, for a long time, Sergio Martinez couldn't really get the fights he wanted, so he had to venture up to middleweight, and that's when he defeated Kelly Pavlik, to some people's surprise. But since then, I mean, he's been fighting at middleweight, and he's had for the sake of how old he is and how late he started, he's had a pretty solid career, and even in the later stages, he's been able to be on a bigger platform. Obviously he's been fighting on HBO, and he had his first pay-per-view date against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., which he dominated until the 12th round, where he got dropped and survived the fight. But in the last couple of years, Sergio Martinez seems as if his age or his body is starting to act like maybe a 38, 39-year-old fighter. As we're with Miguel Cotto, he's arguably one of the top fighters in the last 10 years, from junior welterweight to now, and I mean, he's captured titles at 140, 147, at 154, and if you look at his resume, I mean, it speaks for itself. I mean, the names on there rival guys like Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather as far as the comparison of resumes. I mean, he's fought pretty much everybody that's mattered in his time. So both of these guys, I think, are in a position, and it's kind of rare that you find this in boxing, where you have 2 boxing superstars who are at the tail ends of their career, and at this point, both guys have shown and proven what kind of fighters they are against oppositions they faced, and now it's time to to go out with a bang and make some big money. So this fight just makes all the sense in the world. Now, some people are obviously a little bit against the fight in a way where people believe Miguel Cotto is making a big mistake going to middleweight, as his stay at 154. If we go down the track, down the line, he's had losses to Floyd Mayweather and Austin Trout, which both fighters are difficult fighters to face. But I think even for the case of Floyd Mayweather, I think he really gave Floyd Mayweather the toughest fight since Jose Luis Castillo. And he did lose the fight, but I mean, the account he made for himself, I mean, even Mayweather came out and said, yo man, like, anybody that gets in the ring with this guy better be prepared. And this is the best fighter in the world saying that. So I think also too, one of the storylines going into this fight as well, beyond both of these fighters, is the trainers. Now, Freddie Roach is now training Miguel Cotto. He went in and took over the spot of Pedro Diaz after the Austin Trout fight, and then they had a fight last October, which I was able to attend, where he faced Delvin Rodriguez. And I think with trainers at this stage of these guys' careers, like in the later stages, I don't think there's anything that the trainer's gonna implement as far as like new tactics and new tools. I mean, I think with Freddie Roach, he understands what he has, and with Cotto, the one thing that's been kind of negated in his arsenal is his body work, and that was something that brought him to prominence, against some of the top guys, but from junior welterweight to welterweight. I mean, he was a solid body puncher, and he kind of negated that after a little while. So what we saw in the Delvin Rodriguez fight was him fighting a bigger guy and closing the quarters and being able to land the body work that we hadn't seen in so long. So I think Freddie Roach is trying, in a sense, bringing Cotto back to the basics, which I think a lot of us have been waiting to see from him. And with Sergio Martinez now, his former trainer is now kind of back in the mix. And it seems as if now, they have one cohesive family, because, there was some problems, and it seems as if now the issue really comes down to how healthy is Sergio Martinez. For those who aren't aware, Sergio Martinez is coming off 2 knee surgeries and a shoulder surgery. From the interviews I've been seeing from the press conferences and just post interviews from different media outlets, the constant I'm seeing is that his shoulder's good, but his knee's 90%. Now, I'm really wondering if they're taking this fight in the case where Miguel Cotto is calling the shots, because obviously he is the draw in this case, even though he's fighting for the title, and Martinez is the lineal middleweight champion. There was some controversy, but there was a little back and forth with the negotiations as to the billing of the card. I think Martinez wanted it to be Martinez Cotto because he's the champion, but at the end of the day, boxing is a business, and Miguel Cotto is the draw in this case. I mean, he's going to be the majority of the draw of the people that are going to be going to Madison Square Garden, and for the people who are going to buy the pay-per-view, even though people are buying the pay-per-view for the sake of the fight itself. Sergio Martinez, he's not, he doesn't have a rich pay-per-view history, but I mean, we can't ignore the fact that he is the lineal middleweight champion. I mean, not even Golovkin is that. Golovkin's a title holder, but as far as who's the recognized middleweight champion, it is still Sergio Martinez. But in this case, it is business, and they did go along with it. And again, this is a big money fight for Sergio Martinez, money he's never seen before in any of his fights. So something tells me that I think Martinez's team is maybe taking this fight a little quicker than they've wanted to, because the fact that Martinez's knee is just 90%, and it sounds like 90% sounds good, but throughout the course of a fight, things change. The mobility can be an issue, as wear and tear on your knee is something, not from my personal experience, but people I've been around, and even my own father who had knee surgery. That shit takes a while to heal, man. And depending on the therapy he's been getting, like a lot of us are kind of in the blue about it. We don't know what kind of therapy he's been going through, or what kind of therapy, I guess, like I said, he's going through to rehab that knee. So I think that's those are two storylines for this upcoming fight. Now, with Miguel Cotto, we do have to focus on the fact that Miguel Cotto is going up yet another weight division. Now, the fight is at 159-pound catch weight. I think that's more mind games from Cotto. I don't think it's going to make a difference, because Martinez himself isn't a big middleweight. I mean, if you look at all the guys he's fought, they're all bigger than him for the most part. So I think this is the one instance where he's going to be bigger than his opponent. But I think the size disparity as far as the weight is concerned is not going to be that much different. I think both guys are going to come around 164, 167 fight night. I don't think there's going to be that much disparity. I mean, Martinez he has a longer reach, and he's taller, and that's going to be to his advantage. The thing about Martinez, though, at the same time, is he doesn't fight like a tall fighter. You know, he lunges, he has his hands down, so that dynamic really isn't going to be there. So when you look at it on paper, it's not that big of a size difference, or at least I don't think it's going to be. So I think it's really going to come down to strategy and game plan. Who's the better boxer? Who's the faster guy? Who's the harder puncher? You know, these are intangibles that, you know, we do got to think about, because Martinez is a legitimate middleweight, you know, and he's fought legitimate middleweights, sometimes super middleweights, sometimes light heavyweights. But Miguel Cotto now is entering a new field, and really one shot can end everything, man. I mean that is a reality we may have to see or have to ponder, in the sense where if Cotto does get hit with a solid shot from Martinez, it could be lights out, man. You know, Martinez is a guy who's been a career 154, but he's a legitimate middleweight now, and you know, Miguel Cotto isn't. I mean, I don't even think Miguel Cotto's really a legitimate junior middleweight, if you think about it. But nevertheless, I think come fight night, I think both of these guys are going to be ready. I think both of these guys are going to be as prepared as they can be. The intangibles I'm looking for is how Miguel Cotto takes a shot from a legitimate middleweight. Can he, how is his stamina going to be? And how's Martinez's stamina going to be, as well as his knee? You know, how's that going to hold up? So we're going to find out June 7th. I really can't wait. HBO pay-per-view, Madison Square Garden. I know a couple people that bought tickets already, and I'm a little jealous. But I definitely will be buying this card, and I can't wait. I'll be making a prediction video, like I said, within the month. But stay tuned for that. And, you know, you can see the press conferences. They're online and whatnot. But just hit me up on the comments. Let me know what you think of this fight. And I'll be back soon with the official prediction. Peace.